Hello, friends, and thank you for supporting This Day in Jack Benny. I'm John Henderson. This is not an episode of The Jack Benny Show. These are Dennis Day's guest appearances on Al Jolson's radio show. Al Jolson had a radio show called the Kraft Music Hall.
Good evening, folks. This is Al Jolson in the old Kraft Music Hall. Oh, Oscar, don't stop playing. Just don't stop. You know, the more I hear you, the more I realize how beautifully you play. The classics are just putty in your hands.
I play even better when I don't have putty in my hands.
Al Jolson's piano-playing sidekick, Oscar Levant, could be seen in the Doris Day movie, Romance on the High Seas.
Did I do right by you?
You always do. But all this is beneath me. Why don't you marry me so I can quit this job?
You know, I'm getting a little tired of turning you down.
Marry me and get yourself a dependent. I'm deductible.
Oscar, you're a sweet kid, but just a little offensive.
I always wanted to marry a girl who could tune a piano on the side. Once and for all, will you marry me? Answer, yes or no?
No.
We'll continue this discussion later. Will you see me home?
That was Doris Day's first of many movies, but at this time she was better known as the singer on The Bob Hope Show.
Oh, this cab can't get me home too quick, Bob. I'm tired.
Yeah, now, let's see, Doris. I paid for the cab in St. Louis, you paid for the cab in Amarillo, and I paid in Oakland.
Yeah, I know, Bob. It's my turn to pay.
How'd you know?
You've got your hand in my purse.
Doris Day had also been a guest on the Kraft Music Hall.
Look who's standing right behind you.
Why, it's Dennis Day.
Oscar, that's Doris Day.
Oscar, how could you mistake me for Dennis Day?
Have you ever seen Dennis in a two-way stretch?
Oscar, don't be ridiculous. There's no mistaking Doris Day. Look at the blonde hair and that beautiful tan. You got that here in Palm Springs, didn't you, Doris?
Well, I got the tan here in the springs and the blonde hair from Reptile.
Al Jolson had had a long career by this time, on stage, on record, and on film. A couple of years earlier, they told the story of his life in the hit movie The Jolson Story, with Larry Parks playing Al.
Mama takes all the medals. Still the best cook in the United States.
Here, gefilte fish I made this morning.
And horseradish, fresh grated an hour ago.
Look out for it, Ace. It's very strong.
Who's that again? Not Anne Murray. Well, of course, she grew up. And look how pretty. That's what I mean. It can't be. She was just a funny little girl with funny ribbons in her hair.
Now, Dennis Day made guest appearances 3 times in this season: December 9th, 1948, February 3rd, 1949, and May 5th, 1949. In these episodes, they mention Ronald Colman, the actor who plays himself as Jack Benny's neighbor.
And of all Benny's cast, the most ridiculous is that Dennis Day.
I know, but at least Dennis has an excuse.
Oh, what's that?
He's nuts.
Also on the radio, you could hear the game show Stop the Music.
Stop the Music, ABC's national Sunday night game for the whole family.
This episode mentions the fictional Russian character, the Mad Russian.
How do you do?
As well as the real-life Russian, Joseph Stalin.
Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin.
So put some Philadelphia cream cheese on your bagel and enjoy the show.
Hello? Yeah? Jack Benny? I'm sorry, Jack. I can do nothing for you. I can't get you back on NBC. What? What? Oh, sure, Dennis Day is going to be here in a little while. How much am I going to pay him? Don't worry, Jack. I won't spoil him. I guarantee you that when Dennis Day walks out of here, he still won't know that people get money for singing. Goodbye, Jack.
This is the Kraft Music Hall, starring Al Jolson with Oscar Levant, Lou Bring and his orchestra and chorus, and our guest, Dennis Day.
So keep on looking for a bluebird and listening for its song. Whenever April showers come along. Good evening, folks. This is Al Jolson in the old Kraft Music Hall. Now, here's a little song about a complaint that I don't have anymore. Ma, she's making eyes at me. Ma, she's awful nice to me. Ma, she's almost breaking my heart. I'm beside her. Mercy, let her conscience guide her. Ma, she wants to marry me. Be my honeybee. Every minute she gets bolder. Now she's leaning on my shoulder. Ma, she's kissing me. Ma, she's holding hands with me. Ma, how nice she stands with me. Ma, she's pinching both of my cheeks. Song she's cooing, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Ma, she's pretty as can be. Lights are turning dim. Love for me is growing stronger. I can't hold out any longer. Ma, she's kissing me. Oh, yeah, mama.
Cooking trick you should have for the holidays. It's the 2-minute way to turn an ordinary dessert into something super special. You do it by whipping the famous Philadelphia brand cream cheese. Just put a package of genuine Philadelphia brand cream cheese in a little bowl, add a very small amount of milk, and whip it up with a spoon. In a jiffy, that rich and wonderfully fresh-tasting cream cheese gets fluffy light. Here's a licking good topping for gingerbread, baked apples, baked pears, cherry tarts, or any one-crust fruit pie. Just be sure you do this trick with a cream cheese that's guaranteed fresh by Kraft, the one and only Philadelphia brand. Every time you buy cream cheese, make sure that the packages are marked with the word Philadelphia, the brand that's been famous for flavor more than 60 years.
So keep on looking for a bluebird and listening for his song. Whenever April showers come along.
Hello, folks. This is Kraft Music Hall starring Asa Dennis Day McNulty.
Say, Dennis, what's the idea of imitating me?
Imitating you? Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Al Jolson.
Well, gee, you can't be Al Jolson.
Why?
You're much younger looking than Mr. Benny.
You know, that's the nicest thing that's been said about me since I've been on this program.
Oh, I like to make people happy, even if I have to lie.
Dennis, that wasn't a bad imitation you did of me. How did you learn it?
Well, Mr. Benny insisted that I learn to imitate all the celebrities. It saves money on guest stars.
Now, wait a minute, Dennis. Don't tell me that all the guests you've had on the Jack Benny program were your imitations.
Benita, darling, will you bring me a crumpet, please? Bring me a hard one. I want to throw it at Jack Benny.
Dennis, how would you like to come and work for me, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jolson, but that would give me 3 shows. All those previews and rehearsals. Gee, I have to have at least one night a week off.
Oh, you got a girl, huh?
No, I'm finishing a sweater. You see, Mr. Benny doesn't allow his employees to go around with women because right away they start buying presents for them and spending money, and then they want raises.
But, Dennis, what do you do for women?
Practically anything.
Well, I just can't believe that Jack Benny won't allow you to go out with a girl.
Well, if you promise not to tell Mr. Benny, I did take a girl bowling once.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't my fault. She lied to me.
She lied to you? What do you mean?
Well, she said she was a boy.
Well, why didn't you speak up? You must have noticed there was something different.
Yeah, but I didn't want to embarrass him.
This boy is almost as sweet as I was when I was a boy, according to the movie of my life.
Mr. Jolson, if I did come on your show, what would you do with Mr. Levant?
Well, there wouldn't be any conflict there, son. Oscar is in a different field of music. You see, he's a great pianist.
A pianist? What does he play?
The piano, of course. Can you play piano?
No, but I'm sure I could learn. I'm a genius.
Uh-oh, another genius.
Did you mention my name?
I just said genius.
Same thing.
Gee, Oscar Levant. When I hear that name, I think of Shostakovich, Debussy, Tchaikovsky, Khachaturian.
When I hear the name, I just think of an unpressed suit.
Say, Mr. Levant, you know who I am, don't you?
Sure, I hear you on the Bob Hope Show. You're Doris Day.
Oh, no, she's built differently. But, Mr. Levant, my mother loves you. In fact, she wishes you'd play the piano all night.
Really?
Yeah, my father snores something awful.
Why don't you try playing a Jolson record?
That's what puts him to sleep.
Look, Dennis, let's not have any more insults about my voice. Let me give you a little information, son. I was singing before you were born.
Gee, that's wonderful. I've only been singing since after I was born.
Isn't it wonderful the success a guy can make just because his voice doesn't change?
Now, wait a minute, Oscar. Just a moment. I was talking to Dennis about coming to work for me.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Levant. By the way, is this the only show you have?
Why, yes, it is.
Peasant, I have 2 shows.
Pig.
Oscar, will you sit down? Mr. Day and I are going to talk business. Now, Dennis, let's you and I get our heads together.
Well, there's 2 heads that are no better than one.
Dennis, look, why don't you come to work for me? I know you're doing well for a young fella, but, and it's really remarkable. You know, when I was your age, son, I had nothing. I remember I used to stand on the street corner singing with holes in my pants.
You've got them sewed up now?
Please, Dennis, I'm going to ask you once more. Are you coming to work on my program?
Well, Mr. Jolson, it wouldn't be right. I can't leave Mr. Benny. He needs me. He's so helpless. Why, just last night, the volume control on his electric blanket got stuck.
He didn't get burned, did he?
Well, we had to scrape him a little.
Well, why is Jack so careless?
Oh, it's all on account of him not wearing his glasses. Since he got back from England, he's been wearing a monocle.
Oh, that kills me. Jack Benny wearing a monocle.
Well, it's not exactly a monocle. It's a lifesaver with a bifocal hole.
Look, Dennis, do you want to work for me or not?
Well, after discussing this whole thing, Mr. Jolson, I don't think I'd better come with you. People would tune in and they'd be awfully startled to hear... And now yours truly, Patrick Dennis McNulty, will bring you a breath of blarney from the old sod with Clancy Lord the Boom.
Faith and begorra, I think the lad is right. Lower the Boom, Dennis McDay.
And Zulzine mit Glick to you, Asa me Kinder. Now Clancy was a peaceful man, if you know what I mean. The cops picked up the pieces after Clancy left the scene. He never looked for trouble, that's a fact you can assume. But nevertheless, when trouble would press, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. O'Leary was a fighting man, they all knew he was tough. He strutted round the neighborhood, shooting off his guff. He picked a fight with Clancy, then and there he sealed his doom. Before you could shout, O'Leary, look out! Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. Now Clancy left the barber shop with tonic on his hair. He walked into the pool room and he met O'Reilly there. O'Reilly said, For goodness sakes, now do I smell perfume? Before you could stack your cue in the rack, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. O'Houlihan delivered ice to Mrs. Clancy's flat. He'd always linger for a while to talk of this and that. One day he kissed her just as Clancy walked into the room. Before he could say the time of the day, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom, 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 boom. The neighbors all turned out for Kate O'Grady's wedding night. McDougal said, Let's have some fun, I think I'll start a fight. He wrecked the hall, then kissed the bride and pulverized the groom. Then quick as a wink, before you could think, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, the Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, the Clancy. Oh, the Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom.
Sure, it's the grandest sight you ever did see when Asa McJolson lowered the boom.
Hello, Mr. Benny? This is Dennis Day. Yes, Mr. Benny, I looked all over. I went all through your old dressing room. No, I don't think Mr. Jolson would steal it. Besides, I asked the janitor, and he said he couldn't believe you ever had a toupee with a crew cut. Oh, he hung up on me.
You having some trouble, Dennis?
Yeah, Mr. Benny's mad because they won't let him come into NBC since he went over the wall.
Well, maybe he's not happy on that other network.
Oh, he's happy, all right, but he doesn't know he's dealing with an imposter.
Dennis, who's the imposter?
Well, Mr. Benny's always talking about a fella named Paley who's supposed to be the head man.
Yeah?
But everybody knows Eisenhower's the head of Columbia.
Dennis, Harry Cohn is head of Columbia. Now, before we get any more involved, you'd better sing.
Okay. A little bird told me that you love me, and I believe that you do. This little bird also told me I was falling for no one but you. There's no use denying, I might as well confess. Of all the girls I know, dear, I'm sure I love you best. The little bird told me we'd be happy, and I believe that it's true. A little bird told me we'll be married, and that ain't bad at 82. This little bird also told me when we're married, we'll have a pretty cottage not too far, all fenced in like a movie star. Great pup, we'll call him Ace, lying there by the fireplace, even a nursery painted blue. All this and Social Security too. A little bird told me I'll be married, and I believe that it's true. Yes, I believe that it's true. That's strictly for the birds.
Dennis, that was wonderful. It was great. In fact, it was marvelous.
It was?
Yes.
See, now I wish I'd listened.
You should have. You might have enjoyed it. Oh, by the way, Dennis, have you met Oscar Levant?
Oh, no, I haven't. How do you do, Mr. Levant?
Hello, Dennis. I'm very glad to meet you.
Gee, I must be desirable. Everybody I meet says the same thing.
Well, you sang wonderfully.
Oh, thank you. You know, I put everything I had into that song.
Well, you better get it back. I don't think you can spare it.
Now, wait a minute, Oscar. Don't be a bully. Pick on someone whose brains are your own size.
I apologize, Dennis. I want you to know that I have the greatest respect for your singing talent. And that comes from a fellow musician.
Gee, who is he? I'd like to meet him.
It must be great to be such a naive schnook.
Oh, yes, it is. If I had any brains, I wouldn't have two shows.
Dennis, look, when you came over to the music hall today, you said you had a proposition for me. Now, what was it?
Well, I was thinking maybe you and I could change places. I've even been practicing to follow in your footsteps.
Dennis, do you think your feet will fit in Al Jolson's footsteps?
Oh, sure. I soaked my feet in prune juice so there'll be wrinkles.
I think your head has been soaked in something, too. Dennis, look, I don't understand why you want to leave Jack Benny and change places with me.
Well, I want to change places with you because NBC has prettier page girls.
Why, Dennis, I didn't know you knew anything about girls.
I didn't, but I heard rumors, so I investigated. They're soft.
You know, Dennis, it would do you good if you started going steady with a girl.
Oh, no. I went steady with a girl and I almost proposed to her.
Well, why didn't you propose?
I heard that sort of thing can lead to marriage.
Dennis, what's the matter with marriage?
Keeps you from being single.
Take it from a man who knows. And I know that... Don't come here next Thursday. As I say, take it from a man who knows there's nothing wrong with marriage.
But if I got married, Mr. Jolson, in no time at all, I'd have a couple of kids,
Well?
and then my kids would have kids of their own, and there I'd be married to a grandmother.
That's silly.
No, it isn't. I've never seen a grandmother I care to be married to.
Dennis, look. You're a naive schnook. Listen. Let me explain it to you. Everyone needs romance.
Yeah?
Now you're in love with a girl.
Yeah?
It's wonderful.
Yeah?
Honestly, you court her. Go places, and then comes the day you get married, and she changes her name to yours.
Oh, I wouldn't want that.
Why?
People would say, hello, Dennis, and I wouldn't know whether they meant me or my wife.
Dennis, look, you don't understand. Your wife would take your last name.
But my last name was McNulty.
Well, I didn't mean that.
Gee, if we went to a party, we'd be introduced as Mr. Dennis Day and his wife, Mrs. McNulty.
Dennis, do me a favor, will you? Stay single.
Oh, I wanted to get married. Once I even asked the girl's father for permission to marry her.
What did he say?
Nothing. He just kept banging his head against the wall.
Well, you know the old saying. It's better to have loved and lost than to get married and take a still bigger loss. But Dennis, I can't give you any more advice. Mabel would help you to make up your mind about girls, you know, if you went to Earl Carroll's and saw the bubble dancer there.
Oh, I saw her, and she had a very clean-cut face.
Hey? Didn't you look at the rest of her?
What do you think I am, a peeping Tom?
How did we get into this discussion anyway?
Well, I was talking about changing jobs with you, but now I know I couldn't leave Mr. Benny. Why, his bushy eyebrows, his wavy hair, and his fluttering eyelashes, they're all part of me now.
A part of you?
Yes, I sat down on them while the glue was still wet.
Well, I really don't think you should leave Benny either. You know, to get ahead in show business, I had to spend years on the stage, many more years in pictures and radio. And now, after 45 years of hard work, I'm a success.
Didn't take me that long.
Well, you're lucky, Dennis. You never went through what I did. The many disappointments.
Oh?
Right in the middle of my career, I became very sick. I had to spend a long time in the hospital. Why, one day I almost died. My whole life flashed before my eyes. Now, Larry Parks was playing the part.
I know how you feel, Mr. Jolson. Maybe it'll cheer you up if I sing.
It'll cheer me up more if I sing. Let's see now. What'll it be?
I don't know, but hurry up.
I'm not long for this world.
Well, Dennis Cassidy, what do you say you and I do an Irish song, eh?
Ah, that'll be fine. Sing me favorite. I've come to take you home, Kathleen. The bar is closing anyway.
No, I have a better one, me boy. Stand back and watch out that nobody throws Blarney Stone now.
Oh, that I will, me boy. That I will.
When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like the morning spring in the lilt of Irish laughter. You're gonna hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they'll steal your heart away.
Hey, Mr. Jolson, who has charge of the applause around here?
Well, I do, I guess.
Well, could I have some on Dennis Day?
Dennis, the last time you were here in the hall, you were having some trouble with your girl. Is everything okay now?
Oh, yeah. We came to an understanding. She married somebody else.
You made a mistake, Dennis. You should have eloped with your girl.
Oh, I was going to elope with her, but I guess she lost her nerve at the last moment.
What makes you think so?
I waited all night, and she never came to get me.
Well, Dennis, I think you should look for an athletic type of girl. You know, they're always buxom and healthy and strong, you know.
The girl I went with was healthy. She
Yeah?
drank grape juice and had a figure like Betty Grable.
Well, what Betty Grable has, you don't get from grape juice. But tell me, Dennis, what do you do when you go out with a girl? That's what I want to know. What do you do when you go out with a girl?
Well, I drive her way up to the top of Lookout Mountain.
Yeah? Then what?
And then we turn right around and come back. I get dizzy way up there.
Well, all I can say is you're not very romantic. When I was a young fella, I took girls out and wined them and dined them.
I 7-Up and hot dog them.
Well, all I can say is I give up, Dennis. You've set love back 50 years.
Well, I didn't come here to talk about girls, Mr. Jolson. Next Sunday is Mother's Day.
So what? I'm not your mother.
I know you're my father.
Dennis, how could I be your father?
Well, I don't know about those things, Daddy.
Now, stop calling me Daddy. Now, what do you want, son?
Well, I want to buy my mother something for Mother's Day.
Oh, that's a fine thought. So you came over to get a suggestion from me, eh?
No, I came over to get some money from you.
Now, Dennis, wait a minute. You shouldn't need money. You have 2 radio shows. You have your own program, and you're on every Sunday with Jack Benny.
Yeah, but my money is all tied up.
What do you mean, tied up?
It's all tied up in Mr. Benny's handkerchief.
I wondered why the other day after Jack mopped his brow, it said E pluribus unum on his forehead.
You see, I need a job where I can make enough money to buy Mother a Mother's Day present. She'll be awfully disappointed if I don't get her a set of gold knuckles.
Dennis, you mean brass knuckles, don't you?
No, gold ones. Mother wants them for evening wear. Well, will you give me a job, Mr. Jolson?
Well, Dennis, I don't know if I have a job for you. What kind of work can you do?
Well, I can give you singing lessons.
What? You give me singing lessons?
Yeah.
I forgot more about singing than you'll ever know.
Well, I'll teach you what you forgot.
I'll tell you what, Dennis, you don't have to work for me. I'll lend you a few bucks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't do that. I have a deal with Mr. Benny. I have to borrow all my money from him.
Yeah. Probably Benny charges you interest, huh?
Yeah, he confounds it.
No. You mean compounds it.
No, every time I ask him for money, he says confound it.
Look, kid, I'm sorry. I haven't got a job for you.
Well, would you pay to hear me sing?
Oh, that depends on what you sing.
Oh, don't you worry. It's old enough to be sung here.
Okay, Lou. Help this kid out, will you?
Indiana moon, hear me singing. Indiana moon, you are bringing romance with a light that will guide me to the one I want to see. Moonlit hours, hours of gladness brings a love that's always true. All the world is mine if you will shine. Indiana moon, please do. if you will find Indiana moon, please do.
Say, Dennis, what was the big discussion about that you were having with Jolson?
Well, I asked him to give me a job. I want to earn some pocket money.
What for?
I found a swell place to buy pockets. There's Mr. Jolson. I better get my disguise on.
What do you know? It makes you look just like Titus Moody. But, Dennis, do you think you should make a fool out of Hal that way?
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I think Mr. Jolson is wonderful. Imagine a man his age learning to sing.
Say, Oscar, who's that you're talking to?
Howdy, Bob.
Look, old fella, what can I do for you?
Well, Bob, I want a job. I want to earn some money to buy my mother a present.
Your mother? Now, wait a minute. She must be pretty old.
Nope, younger than I am.
How can your mother be younger than you?
Every family has its peculiarities.
Well, I really have no job to give you anyway. We have steady help at my house. There's Eric, and, well, we could use a babysitter.
Well, I'm a babysitter, Bob.
Oh, you like babies, eh?
Nope.
Then, when were you ever a babysitter?
Today. Got on a crowded bus and sat on a baby.
That's awful. The baby's mother must have had something to say about that.
Nope. Before she noticed anything, I'd been burped once and diapered twice.
But a kind-looking old fella like you must like babies. Don't you think babies are cute?
Well, look at me. Don't you think I'm cute?
Yeah, but babies are sweet, warm little things.
I have my moments.
On second thought, I don't think my wife would want you to be our babysitter. Goodbye.
So long. Howdy, Bob. Can you use a gardener?
Now he's a gardener. Well, maybe I can use a gardener. Have you had any experience?
Yep, just got fired off a job.
Well, why did they fire you?
Well, I was trimming a hedge with a pair of those big iron shears when a neighbor stuck her head through to say peekaboo.
Gosh, what happened?
She only got as far as peek.
You don't mean you cut her head off?
Nope, but you know how some women are always sticking their noses into other people's business.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, she won't stick it in as far anymore.
Now, listen, if I hire you, you'll have to be able to raise a vegetable garden for me. Can you do that?
Sure, Bob. Neighbor once wanted to know why his navy beans were splitting.
Yeah?
So I took one look and said, being that they're navy beans, they're wearing their pods too tight.
I wish you'd have stayed here another minute. You could have heard me sing Look for the Silver Lining. Look for the silver lining whene'er a cloud appears in the blue. Remember somewhere the sun is shining and so the right thing to do is make it shine for you, a heart full of joy and gladness will always banish sadness and strife. So always look for the silver lining and try to find the sunny side
Comrade, I am Sergei J. Popov.
Well, what do you want with me?
I am interior decorator. I have just taken a good look at you, and if your interior is anything like your exterior, comrade, you need decorating.
What's going on here tonight? Sounds like a meeting of the United Nations.
I veto. Jolson, I must decorate your house. I must earn money to buy Mamachka Day, present for little Mamachka.
I wonder if this could be my brother Harry from Pinsk.
Well, then... Now, don't get smart with Russians. We are smartest people of all. We invented aeroplane, television, popcorn, cotton gin, night baseballs, the skyscraper, and electric light.
Now, wait a minute. What about Edison?
We invented him, too. What's more, we invented famous Russian radio program, Stop the Revolution. Last week, we give away big prize.
What did you give away?
Yugoslavia.
Mr. Popov, I hadn't planned on decorating my house again, but tell me, are you really an interior decorator?
Silly boy. Am I a decorator? Here are my references.
Let's see. Peter Joe Bogdanov.
Da.
Nadia Joe Chniasne Loganov.
Da.
And Shasha Paskudny Joe Paganov. Wait a minute. How come all the middle names are Joe?
His old Russian custom. No matter where you are, Joe is in the middle.
Now, Mr. Popov, suppose I did let you decorate my house. How would you go about it?
To lend warmth to the room, I put big picture of Stalin over your fireplace.
Oh, I have a better idea of warmth. Put the picture in the fireplace. Nazdrovia, как поживаете? До свидания.
Comrade, do not talk like that about Stalin. Once in Russia, my friend insulted Stalin.
What happened?
Let us bow our heads.
Oh, I've just had enough about this stuff. Get out of here.
As they say in Russia, how do you do?
Well, what kind of Russian is that?
Mad Russian.
Oh, now I know. I wasn't looking at you from the right angle. Dennis Day, you've been pulling my leg.
Yeah, how'd you guess it? That's all the exercise I get.
Well, how about a little exercise for your vocal cords? How would you like to join Johnny in a little song?
Join you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful. It's so romantic, singing with a baritone.
All right.
By the light of the silvery moon, I want a spoon to my honey I'll croon love tune, honeymoon, keep a shining in June. Your silvery beam is gonna bring love dreams.
We'll be cuddling soon by the silvery moon.
Dennis Day appears with the courtesy of the Colgate-Palmolive Peat Company and may be heard on his own program, A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. This is Ken Carpenter saying good night.